but who or what do I need to become to make this happen? That's where the change come in. Like, who do I need to become? What do I need to become to pull this off? If I'm going to get out of this the way I have been, this ain't gonna cut it.
Mhm.
So what do I have to become?
Hello, Pastor Lonnie.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well. No complaints.
Good. Thank you so much for joining me today in the boardroom. I know that I personally have benefited from a lot of your wisdom and advice, and I know people in my family have as well. So I'm very excited to have you here so that the rest of the world, at least those that watch this podcast, will be able to benefit from some of the things that you have to say today as well.
Well, thank you for having me. It's an honor for me as well. So thank you.
So, first, we'll start off by talking a little bit about you. So, I know that you are a pastor, you are a husband, a father, a grandfather, you're a life coach, counselor, like you're the definition of multifaceted and just busy. So, let's talk a little bit about you. What would you say is your primary I don't know, what you do right now and how's that going?
I think I do wear a lot of hats, but I would say primarily I would say life coaching. That's what I'm kind of doing the most nowadays. Um,
Mhm.
it's a little bit different from counseling, the psychotherapy, and all that stuff. And I think the whole idea is that when someone is kind of stuck and they need movement, we don't really go back into history and all of that stuff. We just try to get
Yeah.
them moving in the right direction. So that requires choices and just being intentional about what they're doing. I don't believe in accidental achievement. I think you have to
Yeah.
be intentional about what you're trying to do. So I help in that area. That's kind of what I'm doing.
So how long have you been doing that specifically?
Since
Officially, I guess.
officially, I would say since '06, somewhere '06, 2006, 7, I started doing this.
Okay. So oh wow, 2006 or so, that's, I'm 20 years.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of other things that I'm doing, but primarily
Mhm.
life coaching has seemed to be the best. I mean,
Mhm.
there's always ministry components to it, and but this what I'm doing now has gotten me access to a lot of areas that I
Mhm.
normally wouldn't get because I lead with this. And
Yeah.
if I were to go to a college campus, hey, I want to come up here and preach and do ministry, that's not going to get me there.
Yeah.
But this does. And they look at it, they already have coaches on campus. I
Mhm.
just happen to be a life coach, not a football, basketball, or
Yeah.
something like that. So I get access and it has worked and served me well.
That's good. And you said you're not a athletic coach, but I heard you used to play ball back in the day.
Yeah,
Little bit of basketball, huh?
that's been a while. I still think about it, but it don't last too long. So yeah.
Oh, I'm sure you could keep up with the youngins now if you wanted to.
I try. I think that's part of the thing of getting into their world and,
Mhm.
kind of using my experience with that to do what
Mhm.
I do. I still look the part. I may not be able to do the part, but so you know what I mean.
They don't take the height away, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, good. And I think that's something that's very important, what you just mentioned too, is having ways and finding ways and staying connected to the parts of you that allow you to be able to connect with people at different phases of life and at different points in life. So you're not approaching these college kids like you're talking to a 30-something-year-old that's in the workforce doing their thing, you're talking to them and relating to them in ways that they're able to connect with. And I think that's extremely important, especially in a position like yours, or even just when you're trying to make an impact in any capacity, in any way, is finding those ways to be connected to people effectively and genuinely.
Sure. Yeah, and I think, part of what I do, you be seen first before you're actually being heard. So I'm always in that area, familiar with what they do. They see me way before they hear me. And the way life is, every now and then people get broken. And when
Yeah.
they know what you do, you're already in proximity. So now's the time to start talking. And that has kind of served me well that way.
Yeah, that's good. So, something you mentioned earlier about kind of the pocket of life coaching and what it really is beneficial for is helping people to figure out how to deal with what's in front of them and move forward and to be, whether that's just happier, healthier, whatever, and helping them in that way. And that's really what I wanted to talk about today, that specific facet of life, and that's change and the resilience and versatility required of us in life so often to be able to adapt and deal with what's in front of us and live life and go from there. I feel well, I know as personally, I have experienced a ton of change, like constant change in my life from the time that I was a kid to hell a couple weeks ago.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of change that has happened. And I think a big part of why I've been able to kind of roll with it is because I've been exposed to it already. I've grown up in that way, but also I've had people around me who have been able to encourage me and help me to do what I need to do from that point. So when you think about versatility and like resilience in the truest sense in life, when you're talking to people or with someone, how would you like define those for someone in real life and not just like, oh, be resilient or be versatile, you got to be able to adapt. We throw those words around like it's nothing, but what would you say are some ways that people can demonstrate that in real life?
Just being resilient. Um, I mean, I think, first of all, I'll say this. There are some things that just happen. Um, we all have our different experience. Everything is not cause and effect. Because you did this, here the effect. Some things just happen. And whether you created it, you just encounter things. Uh, one of the question I would say in real life is we got to ask ourselves, and this is not an age thing, it's an
Mhm.
attitude thing. We have to ask ourselves, what are we responsible for?
Yeah.
That's very important because there are some things that are beyond us that you're not going to be able to change. And I think being resilient, that part of it is to, just being able to endure things, knowing what you're responsible for. Like in a case of, you know, families get dissolved, whatever, and all that stuff,
Mhm.
people respond differently. And, you know, one of the things we know, we can't stay in a certain place. We have to move. And so part of that is knowing what you're responsible for and just doing that part. These are the kind of things, in my opinion, that when you know what you're responsible for, when there's a no quit in you,
Mhm.
whatever you're doing, whatever decision you decide, it doesn't always change your situation, but it always changes you. And
Yeah.
this is how you overcome what you can't avoid.
Yeah.
Just sticking, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
you have to be knowing what you're responsible for. And part of it is just, most of the time we would say, just be tough. But some of the
Mhm.
stuff you have to talk it out, don't tough it out.
Yeah.
And I think that helps us develop the resiliency. But you've got to have, as you said earlier, you've got to have people in your corner. You can't do this alone. You just won't make it. And
Yeah.
so just got to find that.
So do you think I know a lot of times we talk about like kids and we say, oh, kids are resilient. They'll bounce back. They'll do what, they need to do. But do you think that resilience is something that some people are born with or that you can have in you innately, whether it's like, I don't know, we may even say like culturally?
That's kinda tough. I think everybody's different. Some of this stuff is experiential. You go through, you see a lot of stuff, and you just develop it.
Hmm.
But there may be some cases where people just have that. It's just in their DNA. I don't know. Everybody's different, but I have seen people, but not knowing where they get it from,
Hmm.
they just have it. But most of
Yeah.
them have come through some kind of traumatic experience, probably one on top of the next, and they've
Mm-hmm.
learned to keep going. And when you don't have family and a good support, all you have is yourself, whether that's a fact or is that what you
Hmm.
think, you learn to keep going. You're going, but I'm not sure how we get it, just the origin of it. Some people may be born with it, but I know most of it is just experiential. I
Yeah.
wouldn't wish that on anybody, but that's just the way life is. You learn things by what you go through. And most of us, we dream when something is real bad. And I've
Hmm.
said this before, if you can dream whenever it's going crazy, and if you keep that dream alive, it'll keep you alive. And I think that's where it comes in at. You have to see past where you are. And some people develop that at an early age. And
Hmm.
I use it in athletics because they are tough as all get out. You can't beat a man or a woman that won't quit. So I don't know where they
Hmm.
get it from, uh, but you can develop it for sure.
Yeah. So, just in all, when it comes to just dealing with and recognizing the fact that change is coming, change is inevitable, it's going to be there in life, whether it's something that you make change, like I'm going to change this because I can, or it's something that happens that you don't have any control of. Understanding your part in it, what you do have control of, how and ultimately you always have control of yourself. So what you mentioned earlier I thought was huge is like regardless of if what I do or the mentality that I have to be able to get through this change that I have no control over, regardless of if I do anything and it makes a difference in the situation, it's going to make a difference in how I see myself, how I approach things moving forward, and ultimately, I guess, ties into what you were just saying, which is building that resilience,
Hmm.
through those experiences. And I think that's huge. The mentality you have to be able to have, and just the courage as well to be like, okay, I have to let this part go, but the part that I do have control over, I'm gonna do what I got to do and keep it moving.
Yeah. I've seen where I don't know, it manifests itself different, just the desire to survive and to
Mm,
go past where they are right now. It's there are questions I always use. One of them I've already said, like, what am I responsible for in this situation, good, bad, or ugly? There's a
mhm,
part that you are responsible for. Most people, when you bring God in the equation, there
mhm,
are some things you have to do. You don't always get to let go and let God. You
yeah,
have to do some things sometimes. And that's where this question becomes relevant. What am I responsible for? You can't do God's part. He won't do your part.
mm,
And so once you know that, that's a very important question. You stay focused on it. But the other part of this that helps with resiliency is, not only what am I responsible for, but who or what do I need to become to make this happen? That's where the change come in. You have to become something
yeah,
sometime, if that makes sense. Like, who do I need to become? What do I need to become to pull this off? If I'm going to get out of this the way I have been, this ain't gonna cut it.
mhm,
So what do I have to become? Some people are just passive. Maybe you have to be a little more assertive. And I know spiritually speaking, as a believer, we're not spiritual doormats for anything. But
right,
when you start to stand up and speak for something that you know is right, people think, "Oh, that's not godly, that's" but it is.
Mhm.
And if as long as you keep thinking that you don't need to say anything, you'll probably stay where you are. So, when I say what or who do you have to become, sometimes these changes, they let me say it this way. Some people may not be born a certain way. Like,
Mhm.
when I deal with young men, sometimes you have to draw it out of them.
Mm.
Like, you can draw certain things they don't even know they have, and they become the toughest person there is on the team. They didn't show up that way.
Yeah.
And so it's about drawing things out, getting them to see it's in them, and sometimes circumstances will bring it out, if that makes sense. So
Yeah. So what would you say, I think we've talked about, like, if the people that you've seen that just have this inordinate amount of resilience in them when you meet them or when you encounter them first, that they've usually been through quite a bit, lots of
mhm.
piled on trauma, experiences that made them have to adapt in that way. What are some things that you've seen in folks that are a little bit more apprehensive to take control or to be, that just may not have that same level of resilience in them immediately? Like you said, you may have to draw it out of them. Are there any commonalities that you see in their upbringing or the way that they think or some of the things that they say, when you may be first encountering them or meeting with them, that is kind of common across the board?
Well, one of the things that I see a lot, it's just it's a pattern of thinking. Some people have gone through so much traumatic stuff. Common denominator I see in those people who don't just break through is how they think.
Mm,
They don't always think the right way. They think from where they have been, not where they're going. They're sort of stuck that way. They think, and I think I may have mentioned to you, there's this allowing of past experience to be their present truth, and they're
yeah.
stuck. And they can be in one place where it happened, but when they show up, just say at Troy, they
Mhm,
bring it with them, and that's all they know. And I have noticed that when I say thinking, there's a pattern of thinking. There's what I call strongholds, or
mhm,
just stuff that has built up and it becomes truthful to them. Whether it's
mm,
true or not, it's just the way they think. It was so bad, whatever it is, it has become a truth to them. I've seen people think the same way that have been hurt.
yeah.
And the challenge is to get them to look, listen, honey, that's over with. Yesterday ended last night. This is a new beginning. That's not here now. People love you here. Let's move. But
Mhm,
most of the people that are really, really tough, they have that that sort of thinking. And, I think scripture talks about it as just strongholds.
yeah.
And that's what it is. Um, just a fortress of thinking that you've allowed to be factual. And it has built up a fortified place in your mind, and it keeps you stuck in the past, and the present is sitting right in front of you, and you can't do anything about it. I don't wish that on nobody, but I like trying to draw that out of them to get that,
Yeah.
because when that light comes on, they really get a new beginning that they didn't even know existed, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
So if someone, let's just say they find themselves listening to this conversation that we're having, and they're trying to identify which of the two that they are. Am I the person that just has a ton of resilience and I just don't realize it because it's just second nature? Or do I find myself in situations where I have these mental blocks, these mental strongholds that are keeping me from moving forward because I'm allowing for whatever was to continue to be true now, even if it's not? And
Mhm.
to let it have the kind of power over me now that, you know, it, it did back then, even though it may not. Um, you would say to them, it's all about that mindset shift. Like, you're identifying which of the two you are. If you're the person that's resilient, continue, but you need people around you. You need to be talking through it. You need to be, um, you know, praying it out, talking it out, really identifying what it is that you're going through and what you're feeling so that it doesn't turn into a callous almost, that you're not able to really live life fully. Then on the other side of it, if you identify with the person that's like, "Oh, all this stuff in the past happened to me and it's here, it's this, um, I got all this childhood trauma and anxiety," which is all true, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Both can be true. You
Absolutely.
definitely did go through that. However, we are now, and we have to figure out how to move forward from that point, and that can involve needing people as well too to help draw it out of you, but it's really gonna be that click that's like, "Okay, that's not my situation anymore. Here's what's in front of me. Let me attack this way."
Yes. And I think either way, you have to have some sort of, well, support, somebody to talk these things
Mhm.
through with, and a lot of that stuff is, just getting it out of you, talking, and it's historically, I don't know, not historically, but the majority of the people I deal with from where I come from, they look at that as a sign of weakness. Like, you don't talk
Yeah.
about that. You just gotta, I know for me, when I grew up, my dad would say, just be a man. Well, what does that
Mm.
mean when I'm hurting and all tore up? What is this? Is not physical.
Yeah.
This stuff is, y'all know, sometimes psychological, mentally, and I need to talk this out. And sometimes, to me, the victory, you need to say stuff more than people need to hear it.
Mhm.
Men don't talk that
Yeah.
much. A lot of us don't. We just, if you were raised like me, yeah, you raised like me, you got to be tough, be a man. I like, dude, I'm hurting here. Like, what?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about stuff I hadn't been through. This is real. You have to talk this stuff out,
Mhm.
um, and I think part of that is the victory, the getting it out. Because what happens when you don't talk, you become bitter,
Yeah.
not better.
Yeah.
We want betterment, not bitterment. And when you talk stuff out, that's what happens. And then you're able to overcome stuff you just can't avoid just by talking. And
Yeah.
then we try to give practical things that help them move from where they are, to where they need to be. And
Yeah.
so, however they identify, you got to figure out where you are. And if I were dealing with somebody, I would help them move from that place to where they need to be. And I love that
Yeah.
kind of stuff because it happens. With me, I've had good people in my life, and we've all gone
Mhm.
through some stuff. And like I said last week, everybody has, some people has problem with a point. And
Yeah.
so what's the point? I'm going somewhere. I may not be there now, and this guy is gonna help me get there. So talking it out, don't try to be tough.
Talk it out, figure out who it is you gotta be, who it is you need to become to move forward in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's help for that. So um I just love to see people when they're free and
Mhm.
they don't want a lecture, they need an experience. And when you start to have that experience, like, man, I didn't even know this exists. It has
Yeah.
always been in existence. You just didn't know about it. And so I always say sometime where people aren't living, they haven't been taught.
Mhm.
And so when you're teaching them, oh, you're better than what you're experiencing. And then when they get a taste of it, now
Yeah.
there's a person that's hard to deal with. I mean, that's a good thing
Yeah.
because they just got loose, so to speak.
Mhm. Whole new world of opportunity opened up to them. Yeah, mental, just in the way that you think about things, think about yourself. We're not even talking about just what you can go out and do in life, just your mind opens up.
Yes, that's it. Right. I'm not real smart, but I've never seen involuntary movement. The body follows the mind. When your mind is free and it is in the right place, you're gonna be in the right place.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to do. Like, that's where that betterment and experience come. It's a change of thought. And when you start changing your thought, how you think, you start feeling different. You start
Mhm.
doing different, and that creates a different kind of lifestyle. And that's just a beautiful thing to see, somebody when they come into
When
that.
it clicks. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So why do you think in just in general with changes and stuff. Why do you think we struggle? People struggle so much with change. Like, again, the mentality shifts that have to happen, the change in the way that you view things, the change that you have to have inside yourself, all of that is can be hard. It is a struggle to do those things, and it's a struggle to even get to the point where you recognize that you need to make the changes to or the adaptations mentally, physically, whatever, to move through change. Why do you think change is so difficult for us as people a lot of times?
I just think we like comfort. I mean, we don't like whatever we have to be upset. We like that to keep whatever it is. If it's something good, good, we want to keep the good going. But life has a way of throwing us a curveball where it forces us to adapt, to make these necessary changes. And we don't necessarily like it. I'll tell you this, we won't go out looking for it.
Yeah.
It has to happen. It's like I think about whenever I don't know, the Lord was getting ready to turn the church over to the 12 disciples, and he told them what to do, go and whatever, preach here and there, and they were all hanging out in one spot until Paul was raised up. And you know what Paul did to the church? He pretty rough. But what did Paul do? Paul got them moving, doing the very thing that had been commanded. It said, "Go, preach, teach, make disciples." They were staying in one place.
Yeah.
So sometimes this stuff is necessary to get us moving in the right direction, but we don't necessarily like it. So I don't know, other than just the comfort level, we just like things the way we like it, um,
Yeah.
and some people don't. They're just reluctant to change, but
And
we need.
comfort is it's strange because you can be comfortable in your discomfort.
Yes,
So, it's like you can be completely unhappy with your situation, your surroundings, whatever it is, and still be afraid to step outside of that box of discomfort, unhappiness, whatever, to truly face the discomfort that comes along with just making a change, even if it's positive. So, like for positive situations, or, oh, I got a new job, I'm gonna move, or oh, we're having a baby, or things like that. The changes that have to happen for those a lot of times can be seen as positive things. Like we're going from our life is one way to now it's gonna become better in some way, or this is happy and all of that, we're good. But then you've got the situations where it's hard to it may be hard to transition out of, let's just say, being just the two of you to where now you're about to have a baby. So you're like, or you want to have one, and you're like, oh man, we're not gonna be able to travel. We're not gonna be, where it seems like there's gonna be a shift in another direction that can create some discomfort. But all in all, you still come out with a baby, with a child. Then there are situations where I'm sitting in this relationship where I feel terrible. All of these horrible things are happening. I'm unhappy. It's unhealthy, all of these things, but I'm still scared or still apprehensive to move and to make a change because even in my unhappiness and unhealthiness, it's still something that I'm used to. It's still a pattern. It's still familiar, whether it makes me happy or not.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think that happens. I see both sides of it, and I think I used to say people can be happy with nothingness. Like
Mhm.
you aren't going anywhere. Well, it's just what I've always done, and but that's where people come and kind of talk to you and let you know you're better than this isn't the right way. You're better than
Mhm.
what you currently experience. Here's what you can do to change a narrative. If they don't know that, they won't do anything. Well, that's just the way it is, or
Yeah.
in some bad situation, like you mentioned, abusive stuff, people would think they even blame themselves for some crazy stuff that's
Mhm.
happening because it's always
Mhm.
been that way. And
Yeah.
but I want to show you it don't have to be this way. You
Mhm.
you need to get out of this, and here's how you can do it. I'm all about the right things being done the right way, but it can be done, but not if you don't know it.
Mhm.
So, you know, I don't even want to do that, getting used to nothing that's wrong stuff when there's movement to be had. And that's why you can't stay in your own world and go anywhere. You just can't. You have to talk to people. And
Yeah.
so relationships are paramount. Obviously the vertical one, but you need horizontal people. And they ought to be good people that can tell you things. And um
Yeah.
let me say this, and I'm gonna there's this young lady I've been talking to. Same thing what we're saying now. She's from not from this country. But I was talking to her the other day. This was educational stuff. And
Mhm.
I made a statement. I was just talking like I'm always, probably too much. But I said to her, I said, listen, I said, if I had to do it all over again, she was asking me, what would you do all over again?
Mm.
I said, I would change a couple of things. I said, I would never chase empty pursuits. Now, that was professionally and personally. I'm not going to be chasing stuff that ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
In a career or in a relationship, it has to be going somewhere. So, and I was just telling her that I said I would save like every day was a rainy day. I would love, laugh, and just live the best I could if I had to do it all over again. And I would choose something that was going to pay me well and there was a need for it.
Mhm.
I just said that. The next day she calls me, she says, Mr. Lonnie, she said, I need to share this. I've made some changes. I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying this. She said,
Mhm.
yesterday you birthed something in me.
Mm.
I don't even know where she get the word from. That's preaching stuff. But she said, you birthed something in me. Here's what she was doing. She was choosing a major that wasn't going anywhere. I didn't know that. I just was talking about chasing empty pursuits. And she knew there was not gonna be a demand on what she was choosing. So she changed it. She was so happy. So she's gonna go back to where she's at. It sets her back 1 month, but she's
Mhm.
gonna have the degree that she thinks she needs, that there's gonna be a demand, they're gonna pay her real well. I believe that because I
Yeah.
know what the degree is. But my point is, it's stuff like that that get people moving in the right way and not
Mhm.
stuck in something that it's not gonna take them anywhere. Give them the desired outcome, if that makes sense.
And even, yes, this goes back to mentality too, how she was able to hear, and obviously you were supposed to say that to her.
I guess so.
Obviously that was supposed to happen because you didn't even know that's what she was going back and forth over or
Mm.
whatever. So that was supposed to happen, but even her having the mentality to really take it in, process it, and say, "Okay, I'm gonna take this leap, and the consequence of this is that, oh, it may take me a month longer to get finished, but all in all, I'm willing to make this change. I'm willing to take this step and do what I need to do to set myself up better for the future." And so you're talking about having relationships and having, that perspective and feedback and even just a sounding board when you're talking through whatever it is your changes or whatever else you're processing, having the willingness and the openness and the heart posture to receive, is coming back to you as long as it's
Mm.
positive.
Yes.
Positive in that someone's not telling you you suck and you need
Mm.
to, you're not going to go anywhere in life. But positive, whether it's constructive criticism or feedback, or if it's just like, yes, you can do it, it's encouragement. Having the ability to take it back, process it, apply it, and really then execute as a result of it is huge as well.
Yeah, and I can honestly say I've met with her several times. She's
Hmm.
not one of these people. She's 24. She's
Hmm.
not one of these people that is satisfied with hearing and knowing and learning and not doing.
Yeah.
The doing, change comes by doing, not knowing.
Hmm.
She's not trying to be smart. She's trying to be changed. So
Yeah.
whatever I was saying, she did something about it. She is like that. That's why I enjoy meeting with her, because she's not trying to have a rap session. She want to get better, man. And
Yeah.
so what I be talking about is very practical. It's something we have to do. If
Mhm.
this is your desire to be changed, I'm gonna give you something practical. So that I'm not interested in meeting people 15 times. I'm gonna tell you something the first time. If you do it, it'll bring about the desired results. It'll give you
Mhm.
movement.
Yeah.
So you don't have to keep coming to see Mr. Lonnie. That's how I try to put myself out of business. That's
But
what I
Mr.
do.
Lonnie, you're so great. We may just wanna come back and chat it up with you every now and then. You trying to get us
I
out.
can hey, I don't mind that. We just hang out. We have that rap session then, but when you get that
Mhm.
movement, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
rejoice with you because I know it's gonna happen. I'm convinced of it. So um anyway, I
Yeah.
just I'm very grateful to do what I get a chance to do. I love that. I wish, and I'm being honest here, at my age, see, I didn't have all that. I'm trying
Yeah.
today to be what I didn't have when I went to school. Most of my stuff was guesswork, and I don't mind telling you I got a lot of it wrong.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be there to help people navigate this treacherous road. It's not easy. A road is and a path, they're two different things. A road
Mhm.
is well traveled. A path, you've not been there before. And
Mm.
these people are trying to navigate these paths. They haven't been there. They don't know. And to your question a while ago, you asked about, the reluctancy to move. And I
Mhm.
think some of that has to do with not being able to control the outcome. You
Yeah.
don't know what it's going to be, but one thing we
Yeah.
do know, you can't stay here. And we can't control, we don't know what it's going to be, but it has to be better than what I'm doing now. So we'll stay unnecessarily longer than what we should.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to
Yeah.
be that, I don't know, guiding post to help people, come to a quicker decision. Because some of this stuff we don't need to stay there that long, in my opinion.
That's true. True. When we talk about resilience and change and being able to process it and grow through it and all of that. What are some things that you would say someone who is wanting to effectively handle change and effectively change their lives or whatever? What are some ways or some practices you think they should have on a regular basis to ensure that they are ready or at least can make the leaps they need to when they need to make them and effectively live through changes and thrive and grow through them?
I think one of the things is change is going to happen when you're trying to make necessary change. We have to stay what I call pliable,
Mhm.
being able to receive things like what you were talking about earlier from people that love you.
Mm,
Sometimes we can be, I don't know, not necessarily set in our ways, but we can be a little stubborn.
mhm,
Let me say it this way. So the other day I was reading something. We be doing some silly stuff sometime ourselves. I have. I read something. It says the foolishness of man ruins his way,
mm,
but his heart rages against the Lord. It's almost like you're blaming God for something you keep doing over and over. My
mm,
question is, why do you keep doing the same things over and over? When I talk about being pliable,
mhm,
there's somebody's probably trying to speak into your life. So learn to be humble,
mhm,
learn to be pliable to receive stuff, especially when you know it's coming from a good place.
mhm,
I think that will help you, more apt to, I don't know, overcome certain things or,
mhm.
be resilient or face change. And you're probably talking to somebody who've been there.
Yeah.
And I said something to a girl the other day. They called me OG. I'm old guy, whatever you want to call me. I said, well, you don't get old by being crazy. I said, so some people, I've allowed people to speak into my life, and it has helped me be the kind of person like I can probably take anything.
Mhm,
And I wasn't born this way, but the stuff I've received and what I've gone through, and these people talking to me along the way, I've been pliable. So I'm gonna
mhm.
make it. I'm gonna be the last man standing. I'm convinced of that.
Yeah.
So I just think that's some things. Just stay pliable, stay humble, and um, I mean, they'll. I'm sure I won't get it this time. There are a lot of practical things I probably have given people, um, over the time just to help them get ready to make transitions. And you know, you set goals. And one thing I always say, just you have to set goals for yourself. And when you're going through a transition, what make us make it is you have to. It's the one thing I always say. You have to learn to live by principles,
Mhm.
so you won't live by pressures.
Mm.
If you're gonna live by principles, not by pressures, you got to know what they are.
Yeah.
And so I try. That's you got to have principle because where you're going to work, where you're going to, it may not be in place.
Mhm.
And you can go anywhere you want to go in this world, as long as you don't let the stuff get in you. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So make sure that you have the mindset and the heart posture to be humble, to be open, to be versatile, to be coachable, a sponge, to learn and soak up everything around you. And then also you have to have a guiding set of like principles and rules that you follow, regardless of what is going on around you and what the expectation is around you. You have a set of things that you're like, you know what? I'm thinking in terms of like morally, these are things that I stand by. This is how I'll conduct myself. This is how I'll deal with people, so on and so forth. And those are a couple of things that you have to make sure you have to be able to effectively um, and healthfully go through and grow through changes in life, whether they're ones that you've enacted yourself or have happened to you.
Yes, I just think that's key. And I always talk about overcoming stuff you can't avoid. Stuff just happen. When you are a principled person, I
Hmm.
mean, what you have, I call people like that. I call them precious.
Mm.
Only because it's in today's culture, it's rare.
Mm.
It's like a jewel. The only reason it's so precious, you don't find a lot of them. Gold.
Yeah.
It's not in abundance. And so
Hmm.
when you find, oh man, you value that thing. I think principles are the same way. People that way, they always going to be in the minority, not necessarily the majority. That's why I say when you go to a place, I don't care what it is, just don't let the place get inside of you.
Yeah.
And that's having principles, and you begin to be set apart and be distinguished. You can make it. You become resilient. You actually, your life become attractive because people want to know
Mm.
how you're making it. You should be making it,
Mhm.
but you got something that they don't have, but it's attractive to them.
Yeah.
And Grace, we're different. And when we go through stuff, we are designed to make a difference.
Mm.
And the stuff I'm talking to you about is what does it.
And that being different, that being willing to be set apart in ways takes work as well. And it's something you have to be kind of resilient in in and of itself and diligent in and of itself because I can think of like situations where let's just say I've worked somewhere and I typically deal with people and communicate with people a certain way. That's kind of how I talk. I'm very intentional about the way that I talk to people. But then I'm in an environment where they just say anything. Like not my current environment, but like in past and previous, they just will say anything, any kind of way to anybody. And I remember sitting around at some meetings just feeling like dumbfounded. Like
Mm.
we're talking to people this way. And it can get to a point where they may try to speak to you that way. So then you still have to make a conscious effort. I still have to make a conscious effort not to return that, even though that's the norm for that environment, even though they're used to communicating with each other that way, even though they may not take it personally, whatever, or that's just how it goes. I still have to be in a position where I'm like, okay, let me not regurgitate or just go back and forth with them the way that they would or whatever. You have to kind of hold yourself to that standard. But that's just small example, but that in and of itself takes time and effort and just true intentionality, when you're going through those changes and stuff as well.
Yeah, and I think just and some of this stuff is nonverbal. You don't have to say anything. You
Mhm.
just the way you carry yourself,
Mhm.
people will automatically know how far to go with you.
Touche.
They just will. Oh man, Grace don't. Nah, you hadn't said anything. You hadn't went around. Hey, ain't nobody gonna be talking to me. This you don't do that.
Right.
You don't have
Right.
to.
You don't have to, yeah.
And
Mhm.
this is what I call when you people with a routine. I'm telling you, good, bad, or ugly. When you have a routine, you will do routinely stuff other people do occasionally.
Mhm.
How did you do that? You just got a routine. These are your standards. This is how my principles. I do this. You just keep your routine, and you'll be doing some beautiful things. People be trying to do their whole life. It's
Mhm.
because you have a routine. I know who I am. I don't waste time trying to prove who I am.
Yeah.
That's important. We sometimes you don't do that. You'll waste time trying to do it. Just I am this. You don't have to do that.
Mhm.
Just be who you are and just keep showing up consistently, and people will start getting it, and then they'll know, and man, I tell you, you're capable of changing the whole environment
Yeah.
and yourself too. I mean, just by being there, and it starts. I'll say this: it only takes a little to do a lot.
So how would people remain open to change without feeling like there's no control? Like how do I remain open to the ups and downs of life, or just it could be all ups, but it could be a lot of changes. How do I or someone else, how do we remain open to that without feeling like we don't have the control over our lives or things may feel a little chaotic, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. I think this is all without making provision, like, this gonna be this, and just I think just do life. You just have to keep going on and doing your life, and if it happens, you just be ready for it. But I wouldn't sit around excessively worrying about whatever. This is
Mhm.
I don't know how to say this, but this is a broken world.
Mhm.
Stuff gonna happen. I
Mhm.
wouldn't be saying, well, this gonna happen. I'll just live. If it happens, I'll just deal with it when it comes. Um, people, it's about mindset. One more time, if you could, I'm trying not to be trying to do some preaching stuff here, but if you could just
You
keep
do
your
what you gotta
mind.
do.
No, no, there's a little passage. It says, "He that keeps his mind," Isaiah 26:13, "stayed on the Lord, I will give or bring perfect peace." You know why we are fearful and anxiety and trepidation about stuff? It's because our mind's in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Your mind is on the move, the potential thing. You have no idea. We read into things that may never happen.
Mm.
So you create fear and anxiety. Sufficient today is enough. Tomorrow take care of itself. So I don't think you can make provision for some crazy stuff. If it happens, you just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
And we've already talked about people don't like that, but what can you do about it?
Yeah.
I really believe that it's if when your mind and your heart is in the wrong place, if you were you're gonna be in the wrong place. And
Yeah.
so our sleep, everything is taken from us because you're worried about the outcome of what could potentially happen. I call it hypothetical stuff. Well, if I do, it may not happen. So what have you just lost? Life is just tough. I think when we can say that, that's not being negative. I think it's just tough, and but then, again, what am I responsible for in this life?
Yeah.
I'm going to control myself. Last thing I want to say about this is that, Grace, I've noticed that when people believe certain things, really, really believe, you're sitting out in this chair. There's no way you sit in that chair if you didn't believe it could take care of your weight. It will hold you. You just flop
Mhm.
down. You ain't even looking back. Okay, I wonder if this going, you know what I mean? You put your
Mhm.
faith in that thing. I
Mhm.
have noticed that when people believe certain things, really believe certain things, they behave accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you well, I know I believe. Well, look at how we're acting. Why are y'all fearful? If you really believe now, when you like you know what I'm doing here. When you're putting your weight in
Mhm.
this chair, you had no doubt. You didn't have a
Mhm.
backup plan because you knew that one was going to work. I'm just saying, when you start believing some of this stuff you say you believe, you don't need a backup plan because you know, just like you said in that chat, it's going to work. So
Yeah.
fear, anxiety is gone because my mind and my heart is in the right place.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense or not.
It does. It does. And it's a word
Mm.
that we need to hear for sure.
I just think that's, we all go through stuff, but I'm not a superhuman person, but I just believe what
Yeah.
I believe. I
Yeah.
really do. So nobody knows. I tell your mom all the time, I gotta sleep. I gotta, this is what I've
So
been
I
saying.
gotta I gotta be able to rest, man. I
Yeah,
can't have
I
all this
got
on me.
absolutely. And so I gotta learn the thing you have to learn how to cast what you need to cast and carry what you need to carry. And so that you don't get out of balance. And I think that's just paramount in this life. And most of the people, you stressed out, they just carrying too much. And
Yeah.
we just need to get rid of stuff we can't carry. Be light and you'll be okay. You sleep and get that beauty sleep and get up the next day all refreshed, that kind of thing. So
Yeah. Yeah. So what would you say? I mean, you've said a lot today so far about this. But what would you say to someone whose life um has completely shifted in some way? Let's just say today. They've seen a complete and utter shift in their life and they need some perspective, some advice. What would be something that you would say to someone who experienced something like that?
you may shift it in a good way, bad. What do you
We'll say in a negative way.
say? I would
Say in a
say,
negative way.
I would say, first of all, just don't give up, don't quit. There is help, there is hope. You may need to reach out with somebody. One of the things we can't do is when we find ourselves in a crazy place, just stay in our own heads.
Yeah.
Get some perspective. It needs to come outside of you. If I'm my own problem, I can't be my solution.
Yeah.
And so inquire, ask somebody, and get somebody to speak into your life. But don't give up. Know that you're better than what you are. You what you currently experience. It gets better. You may
Yeah.
not know it, but it is there.
Yeah.
So don't quit and get the help. And a lot of time for us, it's available. It's in proximity. It's
Mhm.
the healing comes in the asking, and it takes a humble person to ask when they're
Yeah.
going through.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then let's flip it on the other side. Something very positive happens for someone. It completely shifts their life. What would you tell them now in this new phase, this new time?
Something positive has just happened.
Mhm.
I'd say
That
keep
completely changes their life.
yeah. I'll say keep pursuing that. And I don't know where they were when this happened, but I um I would join myself to that. I would keep pursuing that. Get me a steady doubt of that to keep it going because you don't want to go back.
Yeah.
Everything God gives us requires maintenance. Everything. A newfound relationship, everything requires maintenance. So do your maintenance, keep the good going, by joining yourself with some people who are like minded, have a kindred spirit, and keep it going. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Build your board. Your
Yes,
board of people.
yes.
Mhm.
Isolation don't do us no good. We got to, get in there and get with some people who are like we are and going somewhere. Man, just change the whole narrative get changed and it's good to have people who are that way. They are there. They're
Mhm.
hard to find, but they are out.
Okay. Well, Mr. Lonnie, Pastor Lonnie, I appreciate you for hanging out with me to talk through some of these things. I knew that you'd have plenty of gems to drop for the people. So I really appreciate your time. And just thank you.
Well, thank you. You're welcome. Thanks for having me. I'm sure there'll be more stuff later. So thank you.
Yeah, you just we're just sticking a pin in this. This is
Yeah.
not over.
Yeah.
This ain't over yet. But yes, thank you so much.
Okay. You're welcome.